So you're about to come to Thailand and you want to know what not to do when you come. Whether you want to stay safe or you just want to respect the people and their culture, this video is going to show you exactly what you should be doing and what you should not be doing. Welcome to Travel with Smart Sites. My name is Brian and we provide travel content as well as how to make money online selling smart sites. In this video, as I said, we'll be going over what you should not be doing in Thailand. So the first thing that we're going to discuss is do not disrespect the Thai monarchy, whether it's online or in person. Now, there has been said that there's a man who's facing up to 50 years for disrespecting the Thai monarchy. Online, it says that you can get up to 15 years for disrespecting them or saying something bad, spreading misinformation, whatever you want to call it. But in my opinion, you don't want to do 1 year in a Thai prison. I wouldn't want to do a day in a Thai prison. It does not look nice. I looked it up online. I've heard other people tell their stories, and let me tell you, it's not somewhere that I want to be. So I know if you come from America or some other place where you could say whatever you want about Trump or Biden, we're not going to get into that. You might say, well, that's ridiculous. Why can't I say what I think about their government? Well, you're not in America anymore or wherever you come from. So the freedoms that you had there, you don't have in Thailand. So be sure to keep your mouth shut and do not talk bad about them because you do not want to go to jail. Number 2, take a Bolt or a Grab. Do not take taxis. Do not take random guys who pull up in a go-kart or scooter, whatever you want to call it. I said go-kart. In my opinion, you do not want to use one of them for a few reasons. One, they can change the price whenever they want. It might be a much higher price one day and a lower price another day. They can speed, their car might not be up to date, it might smell. They have really nobody to hold accountable when you're using a random taxi or a motor scooter. But if you have a Grab or a Bolt, which is basically Asia's version of Uber and Lyft, then they have to be held accountable because you can contact support, it can leave a bad review. There's a lot of variables that can get them in trouble if their car is not up to date, if they're late, if they're rude, if they're driving crazy. So I personally, for one, the safety of knowing exactly where I'm going, knowing that they're going to be held accountable and that they'll be on their best behavior is worth it to me. Also, it's cheaper. Surprisingly, getting it on the app is actually cheaper than getting it in person. In my opinion, I think it's because one, the app knows exactly how much it should cost to go from one place to the other, and there's a lot of competition, so they're able to have the prices lower as opposed to the regular taxis and motorbikes. These people will not play with you. Let me tell you something. Let me actually tell you a very quick story. I was in Thailand and then I had a Grab come to pick me up, and then there was one of the taxi people. It's actually called the taxi mafia. So if you're there in Thailand, you're gonna hear about the taxi mafia. Some places, the people in Grab and Bolt, they cannot even pick you up in certain areas if the taxi mafia has a little stand there. So the taxi mafia came up to my Grab or Bolt driver, whatever it was, and he said, no, you can't pick them up here. You gotta go down there. So the guy tried making us go down the street for him to pick us up because basically that was their territory. So again, guys, I highly suggest that you get a Grab or Bolt just because it's safer, and as you see, the taxi mafia is kind of corrupt, so I would just be careful taking a taxi versus a Grab or a Bolt for the reasons that I just said. The third thing, make sure you book on Airbnb rather than just going to get a random hotel, and this is for a few reasons. Now, you don't want to get a hotel due to the fact that you have a lot more variety on Airbnb than trying to find a bunch of random hotels. You're able to easily in an instant see all the prices. You're able to see exactly, it's kind of like a price line. If you're from America, and I use America because that's where I'm from, but if you're from America, maybe you've used like Priceline or something of that nature, has all the prices and exactly what you're getting, 1 bed or 2 beds or 2 bedrooms or whatever you're getting. It's all there on Airbnb. And I see a lot of foreigners, especially older foreigners, they're just like booking hotels. And even in like the Facebook groups, they're asking what hotel should I stay at and this and that. Go on Airbnb. For one, you have a lot of variety there, everything's there. 2, it's still incredibly cheap, even though if you go directly to a landlord or directly to a condo, you probably get it a little bit cheaper as opposed to getting it from somebody on Airbnb. That is true. So for anybody that's a traveler saying, oh, we'll just go and book directly with the office, yeah, that's nice. Once you're already in Thailand, you know where you're going and you're already there. Maybe you can contact them as well and try to book online. So sure, you have that. But me, I just personally like to go right to Airbnb. I don't want to haggle. I want to be there for a week. I want to be there for a month. I could just do it like that. So they have all types of places with water slides and restaurants and so many different amenities that you can just find right on Airbnb, right on the beach, overlooking the ocean. So in my opinion, I prefer to book on Airbnb. It's convenient. You can check reviews as well. And there's a lot of other reasons that I like to book on Airbnb, primarily for the convenience. So if I was you, I would skip just getting an average hotel. You're going to pay almost the same amount anyway, but you get a whole apartment 9 times out of 10 on Airbnb. If you're in Thailand, don't even rent a room, because even though it's way cheaper, you might get it for like $150 a month or $200 for a month. It's only another $200 for an apartment, maybe, and that's somewhere nice, okay? So I highly suggest that you go and get an Airbnb. Number 4, don't overstay your visa. Recently, they actually changed the law to where you're actually able to stay 60 days and then renew and then get like another 60 days. But before, it was only 30 days. When I was there, earlier this year even, it was only 30 days, and you got to renew, then you get another 30 days, then you got to go to the border and stay there and do a crossing. So that's how it was before. Now you get 60 days, go and check in, and then you basically get another 60 days. But if you are somebody who's going to overstay your visa, let's say much more than a day, then they can deport you, they can revoke your visa, they can stop you from coming back into the country for a prolonged period of time. So this is not something you want to play with. Thailand is not somewhere you want to play with. Just do what they tell you to do, and you're going to have a great time. They're built off of respect, and they will take it as disrespect if you just overstay your visa because you feel like it. So I highly suggest that you make sure that you keep track of your dates. Number 5, do not touch the monks. The monks hold a sacred and revered position in Thailand. You're not supposed to touch them, especially if you're a woman. They have had an oath to not have any contact with women. Women are not even supposed to hand the monk something, from what I understand. So if you're in Thailand, do not just go up and hug them and all of this stuff like you would in America with your average priest, giving them a handshake and hugging them, or whatever you would do in your country. This is not your country, so be sure to be very respectful of the monks. Sometimes you'll see them, especially early in the mornings, just walking around, sometimes collecting donations. If you want, some of them, I believe, are not talking due to they taking a vow of silence. But if you want, some of them you can talk to, you can ask them for a picture, you can donate to them. So there's some things that you can do, but again, be respectful, make sure you bow to them, but do not touch the monks. Number 6. Now, one of the things that my friends occasionally tease me about when I got back from Thailand are the lady boys. I tell them about how the women are beautiful and I had such a great time, and them being ignorant to Thailand, the first thing they say is, oh, gotta watch out for the lady boys. Were you ever with a lady boy? One, I think that's kind of disrespectful to the lady boys. I have nothing against them. It's just not my personal thing. But in reality, I think that you'll be able to tell most of the time if it's a lady boy. Also, the majority of bars out there and clubs do not allow lady boys to work in them. So if you're a lady boy, most of them are either on the beach or they're at a club specifically for lady boys. And when I say on the beach, I'm talking about Pattaya, Thailand, because that's why I spent a good majority of my time. Of course, you could be in a place like Bangkok and there is no beach and they could just be randomly on the street. I do get that. So I guess I was just talking about Pattaya, Thailand when I said most of them are on the beach, just because I spent most of my time there. But overall, technically, I guess they can be anywhere, but the majority of the time, at least when it comes to being in the club, they have their own clubs for lady boys. So unless you're picking up somebody from the street, then sure, you might want to double check. But most of the time, the lady boys will be honest with you. From what I found online, they don't claim to be women and they want to be straightforward. They're not trying to trick you, as opposed to in America, where the men think that they're women and the women think that they're men and they truly believe it. And that's, again, a whole nother story. We're not going to get into that. So the point of what I'm saying is, do not get tricked by a lady boy. Another thing to watch out for is the lady boys, from what I've heard, cause the most trouble when men go with them, as far as like robbing them and playing tricks and stuff like that. I don't hear it very often about the Thai women. Of course, it definitely does happen. They get scammed and whatnot, but I think it's more of a love scam that the Thai women will play on you, basically maxing out your credit card by you buying them stuff and having multiple boyfriends that send them stuff like that, as opposed to the lady boys who will let you take a shower and you're going to get ready and then they just took all your stuff and left. Those are the kind of differences as far as like scams, but we'll create another video about scams to avoid in Thailand. So do me a favor and subscribe if you like the content that I'm giving you so far. I would really appreciate it. Helps the algorithm push this out to more people, and it really supports me a lot. So I would really appreciate if you did click subscribe below, like the video, even leave a comment and let me know, what do you want to know about in the next video? Number 7, don't take free things. Now, one of the things you're going to notice is, let's say that you're walking down the street and a taxi driver says, oh, you need a ride? I take you for free, right? Again, if you're watching this video to this point, as I said, don't take taxis, just call a Bolt or a Grab. But let's just say that you're walking down the street and a taxi driver does stop you and says, hey, I'll give you a free ride. Where are you going? And then you're like, oh, I'm okay. And they convince you. The ride is not free. They'll talk to you for the first maybe 2 to 5 minutes. And then once you're kind of cool with them, buddy, where you from, then they're gonna say, oh, can we stop at my friend's business? They just want to show you, you don't have to buy. And then you tell them, no, I just want to go where I'm going. And then basically they do one of two things. They'll either force you to go and tell you that, and they force you not by kidnapping you, but by telling you, oh, well, then you have to get out here, right? And at that point, you're already like, where am I? You can't just leave me here. So oftentimes people will just go and check out the place, and then the people there, the salespeople, will end up harassing you while you're there to buy something. It's not a great experience. It's so cheap there. Just pay for the Grab or the Bolt. That's basically the scam. They basically tell you something is free and then it's not free. Kind of like the people in New York. It's not the only place that, you know, scams like this happen. In New York, people will like hand you a CD, like a rapper or something, for free. Oh, here. They give it to you and like, oh, support me. Donate $5, donate $10. So obviously it's not free. And then if you don't donate, they give you a hard time or want their CD back. So if somebody's offering you something for free, just don't take it. Everything is cheap enough. The food is cheap. The rents are cheap. Airbnbs, taxis, everything is cheap. Just pay for it, all right? Number 8, do not just come for a few days. Try to book at least 1 week to a month in Thailand, and try to visit at least 2 to 4 or 5 places when you do come. This way you can get a full experience. My 2 favorite places are Bangkok and Pattaya, but you also have places like Jom Tien, which is just outside of Pattaya, almost the same thing, but it's more of like a more quiet little beach town as opposed to a more party town like Pattaya. Then you also have Phuket, which is more like a more expensive version of Pattaya. You have Chiang Mai, which is not so much a party town. It's not like Bangkok. It's more of like a hometown kind of feel, but not really rural area, because it is like a bigger city as well, but it's not like Bangkok as well. It's very interesting. So these are some of the other places that you can visit, and maybe I'll make a video later about the best places in Thailand to visit. Number 9, do not disrespect people. Thailand is a culture of respect. So if you give respect, you're gonna get respect. So what I mean by giving respect is, if somebody tries to talk to you, say no thank you. If you don't want whatever they're trying to sell you or whatever the case may be. If somebody ends up holding the door for you, obviously say thank you. Don't just leave them hanging. You can bow to them like this. You can use their language. So basically, when you speak their language, in a lot of places that I visit, when you speak the native language to the locals, they absolutely love it. Even if you're not doing a great job, even if it's just saying thank you, they're gonna really appreciate it. They laugh and you get a good feeling out of it. So just be respectful. Don't be disrespectful, because it's a culture of respect. So I think you just having respect will take you a very long way in Thailand. Number 10, do not act crazy in Thailand. Do not start being off your rocker and starting fights or whatever the case may be. And this falls even further than just respect. So for example, if you feel somebody's cheated you, or somebody bumps into you, or somebody else starts talking to the girl that you were talking to, Do not act crazy, just relax. You don't want to get in trouble in Thailand. You know, as I said in number 9, it's a culture of respect. So if you're going to be out there picking fights, or you think, oh, I'm this big guy and, you know, this guy is little and he's nothing, first, just keep in mind, a lot of them know Muay Thai. So be careful there. The smallest guys can just provide the biggest impact when it comes to the fight. And even if he can't fight, Thais stick together. So you do not want to be in a situation where you think you're going to fight one guy and then the entire community comes and beats you up. So make sure that you're not out here acting wild, and even if something happens that you don't like, remember, you're in a foreign country, you don't want to go to jail, you don't want to get beat up by the entire town. So just make sure you're not out here wilding out. All right, so that concludes the 10 don'ts of Thailand. I appreciate you guys watching this video. As I said, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.